Let's talk to Ladona Harvey, though, Arizona Morning News star over there in Phoenix, because Donald Trump is about to address the Knesset at some point in the next half hour, we think. He's having quite the day of it. He's arrived in Tel Aviv. He's flown into Ben Gurion Airport. There's a huge sign on the beach at Tel Aviv saying, "Thank you, Mr. President." Quite a remarkable day, really. Ladona, very good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
I mean, even Hillary Clinton has actually given him credit. I mean, this is quite extraordinary. Have a look at this.
Again, first step, and I really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as Arab leaders in the region, for making the commitment to the 20-point plan and seeing a path forward for what's often called the day after.
So, you know, they said hell would freeze over before you saw that. Well, hell must be pretty cold today.
A little bit chilly, yeah. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to a former national news analyst who is kind of free range now, named Chuck Todd, on Friday. And he said, you know, there are two places where Donald Trump's bluster doesn't flip people out. World leaders who will actually, you know, they actually take him very seriously and they listen to him.
Right.
And that's the Middle East and Russia. And he said, you know, you have to give credit where credit is due. Walking in and saying you are going to make a deal is a situation that I don't even, how much diplomacy have we had? You know, we've tried diplomatic routes. We have tried appeasement. We've tried almost everything to calm things down in the Middle East. And somehow, some way, our president managed to at least get the underpinnings of a peace deal done. I mean, we are seeing hostages released. We are seeing troops pulled back. Hopefully we will see people in Gaza fed. We will see kids going back to school, and we will see some sort of rebuilding. And that's something that nobody has managed to do. And, you know, how did he get it done? I have no idea. Nor do I care, to be honest.
No.
I think it's like, who cares how he got it done? He got it done. And we can finally see a calming of the waters there and some sort of resolving of a situation that for the past quite a few years has just been incredibly volatile. And can we take that volatility out of it?
Yeah, exactly right. And the fact that he did get agreement from all of those Arab countries, I think, is quite remarkable, because that's the key to it all, isn't it? And the fact that he also kind of bypassed in his thanks last week Britain, France and Canada, because they did what Secretary of State Mark Rubio said was actually damaging to peace talks. That Hamas basically pulled out of the peace talks the day that France decided to recognise the Palestinian state.
Well, it's, you know, that's such a thorny problem, and it makes Israel mad when people step in. It makes the Palestinians mad when people step in, although they want people to step in. They just want them to step in on their terms. And I think Donald Trump just sort of stepped in on his terms and said, you go to that corner, you go to that corner, everybody shut up, and here's how this is going to work. Yeah. And you know, with me, I'm like, I know you are, but what am I? Don't tell me what to do. But somehow, some way, Bibi Netanyahu and Hamas have sort of retreated to their respective corners, realizing that this situation has been untenable, absolutely untenable, and could not go on.
The other one that's interesting over the weekend with regards to sort of US-UK relations is, I don't know how much you know about it, but the UK government is currently embroiled in this scandal about a spying a situation regarding two British citizens who were supposedly spying for China. The case was brought against them by the Crown Prosecution Service, effectively the Attorney General here, and the case had to be dropped because they couldn't get any cooperation from Downing Street with regard to referring to China as the enemy and dangerous and a threat. And the US, we understand, the White House has now warned the UK that, you know, if this is how you're going to treat China, we might have to pull back with some of our intelligence information that we give you.
Well, yeah, China gets treated with kid gloves because let's face it, they're one of the manufacturing behemoths in the world,
Yeah.
and everybody tiptoes very gently around them. However, they are also have a horrible human rights record, and their kind of lock on those rare earth minerals that are needed in so much for computing and in the making of silicon chips, in AI, in all of the technology that we are all depending on, that lock and their resistance to selling those minerals very specifically to the United States is really the number one reason I believe that Donald Trump is very unhappy with China right now, and he's going to be really unhappy with anybody who's appeasing them.
And they're not going to be too happy with the 100% tariffs that he's about to put on them either. But
no, and I think it's even more. I want to say that I think it's 130.
Right.
It's
amazing.
It's a lot.
But I mean, there's a good story, a pro-American, I suppose, story in the Wall Street, in the Financial Times this morning, saying Wall Street investment bank revenues are set to top $9 billion, apparently for the first time, getting back up to previous levels. Still not as high as 2021, but an increase of 13% from a year ago, 50% improvement on the lows of 2023, when, of course, old sleepy Joe Biden was in charge.
Well, it's interesting because, pretty much everybody on Wall Street, when they saw the tariffs going in and this tariff war breaking out, and I'll be honest, as your average American, I was flipping out over the tariffs, going, wait a minute, what's going on? And nothing happened that Wall Street sort of, and regular old economists predicted. The American economy did not tank. It hasn't been moving a lot recently, but it certainly hasn't been going down. And so I think that there are a lot of people with tweed suits on and elbow patches who are going to have a lot of explaining to do as to why our economy did not tank with all the tariffs. And if it didn't tank, can we explain that to the American people? Because anybody who's invested in Wall Street is pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
Of course, that could change.
Yeah, of course it could. Yeah, I mean, don't count your chickens, as they say, literally. Ladona, Harvey, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Arizona Morning News, KTAR in Phoenix.